The other thing was, it looks, according to reports today, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, a number of players missing from training for Arsenal. Roms, how are they going to cope this weekend? They've got away to Bournemouth, who can be a tricky side. Looks like they've got a number of injuries. Can they cope without Bukayo Saka, in your opinion?
You know why this one's tricky? Because they like to remind us every week, most assists. I think he broke the record 6 games in a row for assists and whatnot. We've already been critical of Arsenal not scoring enough, let's say necessarily from open play. And their main source of that is Bukayo Saka. Now, if he is missing at the weekend, I do believe they can still get over the line because they're better away from home than they are at home. I don't know if they've conceded away from home. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, but I think they're better away from home.
Against City, yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. Bar the City game, I think
they have been good away from home.
They've been good away from home. Now you're asking your Sterlings to come in, your Havertz, and Havertz has played very well. And you said Martinelli's out as well, so maybe Trossard on that left, and now you kind of have to reconstruct the midfield. I think it makes it more difficult. I think they possess enough quality to beat Bournemouth away, because Bournemouth away are a funny team. You saw Chelsea kind of struggled against them and got over the line. Areola, I think it's Areola, how you pronounce it. Areola, I don't know the pronunciation, but I rate him as a manager, and he's got them playing good football. But they're very reminiscent of Brighton a few years ago, where they'll create abundance of chances, but they don't really hit the back of the net. Evan Nelson from Porto's come into the fold, not really hit the ground running. We know your maiden season in the Prem. Yeah, he's finding form slowly, but you know your maiden form in the Prem as foreigner, your maiden year, you don't always hit the ground running. So Mendo's playing very well, and I think that is a player that can cause Arsenal trouble. But this is the situation Arsenal find themselves in. Their defense is just too strong, and I just feel Bournemouth will trouble them in spells. But I think I can see that just being a 1-0, a low-scoring game. Arsenal get the job done ugly and get out there, even without a Bukayo Saka. But I think if Saka is fit, that's their main source of output, and I think they'll probably go away winning that 2-3-0. But I think they can still get the job done. I think
they're trolling, to be honest. Like,
yeah, I don't think
it's today with Rice wearing the number 7 training shirt. Like, Saka's playing. For them to put out Rice wearing a bib and it's Saka's number, like it's mind games from Arteta. 100%. He's going to play and he will perform, and Arsenal will win. But like you said, it's going to be a tough game. I wouldn't be confident of any team going Bournemouth away. Chelsea struggled. You know, if Evan Nelson scores that penalty, it's a different game. But I think they've got enough to beat them. It won't be like a 3-4-0. I think maybe just a 2-0 clean sheet, get out of there sort of job done.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, with this Saka thing now, I know a lot of people saying it's trolling and whatnot, but the way he was kind of it was his hamstring when he come off against Greece, wasn't it? Yeah. I don't think he's injured long term, but I think he is nursing something. I think this time it's not jokes. I don't think they are trying to like paper over cap, pull walls up over our eyes. I can actually, do you know what? I'm going to say this. I think he returns midweek in the Champions League. I actually think he misses out this game. I could be wrong. But I think he's not seriously injured, but I think they're going to be very skeptical and they're just going to rest him for this game and bring him back in the midweek. I think not you. I was going to say you as an Arsenal fan, Henry. But Shakhtar. I think they got Shakhtar. I think
everyone else in the chat thinks that's a part. I've given guilty praise today.
I could never be confused with the Guna.
Nah, not you.
But they've got quality, man. Even if Saka's out, they've got quality.
You know what? Sorry to cut you around. This is where Arteta needs to just give Nwaneri his chance, because I think if Saka is rested, some people might say 5:30 Saturday, Bournemouth there. It might be a bit hostile, but he's never going to develop if you don't play him. He started in the League Cup now. This could be the game. And I know a lot of Arsenal fans have said that I think their last game, Southampton, they wanted to start him. He didn't start. It's like, when will he now start this player? Because he is quality. And I do think if Saka is absent, give him his first start, man. Give him his first start.
Yeah, I would. I don't think Saka fakes his injuries per se. I know it's a good joke and everyone has fun with it. I do worry, though, about the amount of knocks he's carried in the last couple of years. And I worry from an England point of view, not an Arsenal one, that, something does snap and go. You've got problems there just because of how influential he is over a long period of time. But I think Arsenal, if you're going to win the league, if you're good enough to win the league, you have to be able to cope against teams like Bournemouth, teams like Shakhtar in the Champions League, with 2 or 3 injuries to major players. Because when I think of the Chelsea teams that were winning Premier Leagues, the Man United teams, the Liverpool team, the Spurs, well, not Spurs, but when I think about all our teams that have done that, we were all able to cope with injuries. And I remember Man United winning league title. I remember winning league titles when we had players missing for months on end, where we had players out. And it was a weird one. I remember go back to, I know it's a long time ago, but I go back to 99. Scholesy and Keane were missing the final, not through injury, through suspension. And as much as I was gutted, I was like, hey, we've got Nicky Butt though. We've got Blomqvist. We can move Beckham into the middle. We can win the game still. I didn't go, that's it, it's over. And I feel like in the modern day era, we've become a little bit weak in that regard, where we don't kind of back out, barring City, we kind of don't back our team and squad to handle it. But maybe up until the last 4 or 5 years, and maybe social media has done this to us, we get an injury or two and we just want, we're average now, we're a mid-table team. And I just think, like, I never really believe a team is a one-man team. I don't like that comment. I find it really, like, a lot of, even United fans say things like, we were a one-man team when we won it in Fergie's last year with Van Persie. Oh, what, the team that was lost on goal difference the season before added a striker and we became a one-man team? You just mean Van Persie made us better, but we weren't a one-man team. We were in a title race the year before and every other year before that, So, yeah, Arsenal just got to get through it. And I don't, no boohooing, no crying, no excuses. To win the league, you are going to have a number of games this year where Odegaard and Saka and others are missing through injury, or you're going to have to rotate because you've got to try and win FA Cups and Champions Leagues as well. And when you do, and that's why I always say the 2 trebles that have been done in England are the 2 greatest achievements by any English side, Man United and Man City, because you have to rotate your best players in massive games in big tournaments to be able to win them all. I'm not saying going invincible is easy. I'm not saying winning a double is easy, but the treble, learning how to circumnavigate that. When we turned up again, I'm going to go back to our greatest year in 99. When we turned up to the FA Cup final replay and we're starting, Phil Neville, and we've got players out of position and our main strikers are on the bench for the game. You're sitting there going, I haven't even got our strongest team on the pitch, but it's what you had to do because you couldn't play the best 11 for 55 games in a season. So look, Arsenal fans, you should be expecting to win. There shouldn't be excuses if you lose. Bournemouth are a good side. Arsenal should be winning this weekend. They should be, by hook or by crook, they should be winning this game if they genuinely are title contenders.
You know what gives them even more incentive? The fact that Liverpool and City both play on the Sunday. You just want that psychological edge over them as well.
Yes.
Just to be top going into that Sunday. Yeah, they have to win that game. They have to.
You know on the trebles, do you know why the Man United treble and the Man City treble I think is better than the Barca's and the Inter Milans? Because those leagues don't have 4 competitions.
I'm just gonna say that, yeah.
Copa del Rey, La Liga, champs, whereas we've got the League Cup, and there's now, isn't there rumours of them bringing a 5th one in? I see early on today on Twitter they're talking about from 6th, the top from 6 down leagues will be another competition from like 3 years' time.
Wait, what would it be? The Johnson's Paint Trophy or something?
Something like that, yeah.
There's no space.
They've already got that.
They're arguing that some of the championship clubs are arguing that what is the point in going into the FA Cup and the League Cup because they're never going to win it. I know you get a Wigan happen every now and then or a Birmingham City, but I think
if you look in the last 25 or so years, if you look at the sort of the traditional top 4 stroke now top 6, it's just us lot that win everything. And every now and then you get a Wigan or you get a Swansea, even the League Cup. Even the League Cup, predominantly it's being won by the bigger side. So I do kind of get that as an example. But listen, I can't speak for the other leagues and all their eras. But this is where I know our league is the hardest. And I believe it's the hardest. Doesn't mean best in terms of technical ability. And everyone likes that. I say hardest. Is you'll see it again this season. You see it in others. PSG will have a Champions League quarter-final second leg game on a Wednesday or a Tuesday. Look at the team they pick for their league game on the Saturday. They'll rest 9-10 players. No Premier League team, unless they've got a ridiculous lead, can do that. If Man City had a game away against Brentford and they rested 8 or 9 of their first team, they may not win it. In the other leagues, especially in France, the Liga, they do this. They still win relatively comfortably if they're playing somebody outside the kind of top 4 or 5. And that's for me what, again, I do agree. I think the trebles over here are just slightly harder to do, personally.
Terry, and this is why, and I think Ram will agree, not really at the start of his tenure, but this is why in Klopp's tenure, kind of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th year, I didn't mind him kind of binning off the FA Cup and League Cup because we were going up against that juggernaut City and we were pushing each other to crazy numbers we've never seen, and also going far in the Champions League whilst we were at it, semi-finals, winning it, and whatnot. That's why I didn't really mind, because we didn't have the squad to completely change up in the league and then go again in Champions League, because then we would lose a game and ultimately that would lose you the league. It was very fine margin. So no, I think you're spot on with that.
When people say it's just France, so again, I implore you, I'm not slagging off La Liga. I think La Liga is an amazing league. I think the technical ability is probably the best in Europe, before anybody starts clipping this up and getting mental on Twitter or X, whatever we call it now. But just go and have a look over the last 5, 6, 7 years and look at Real Madrid's starting lineups on a Saturday. Normally, their league will also let them play on a Friday because they change it for them. But check the Friday or the Saturday game that Real Madrid or Barca play. Check the side that starts compared to the team that starts that midweek knockout Champions League game. And look at the volume of changes. I've definitely seen it before, 100%, where you sometimes look at it and go, I haven't even heard of some of these players. And again, I don't follow it fanatically. But as I say, doing it in England, I think is just that marginally harder. By the way, it doesn't mean that Barca team that did the treble was arguably the greatest club team of all side. I'm not saying they're not an amazing team, but equally, it's like the points total. I've said it before. What you and City were doing was amazing. But I think it's easier to get those points titles when it's only you two are at that top level. Go back to the Premier League between, say, 2004 and 2013, where genuinely every year there was 3 to 4 teams in the Premier League each season that had the capability of being champions of Europe and potentially winning the league. That makes it harder to get 95, 96, 97 points. If Man United were at the level we were at in the 90s, but it was only us and maybe one other team pushing us, think about how many more points we would have got if we didn't have Leeds and Arsenal and Newcastle and Villa at times, and of course Liverpool, Arsenal, all pushing us. The amount of teams that were of a high level back then is crazy. So I don't think you could undo the history on these things. This here says, that's cool, Ram, by the way. That's grand. Let's get the likes up, people. Please, let's get that done. Let's get those likes up. I don't even know what they're on, but thank you. Get that done. The Serie A is the hardest. Any of the top 8 can win the league. Yeah, I mean, competitive point of view, but then I would then say I don't disagree. But then what I would say
top 4. Big up, Carl, but I'd say top 4.
I get what you mean. But then also, when you look over even the last 10 years, how many of those Italian teams are genuinely better than the top English, La Liga, and even German sides? If you created a league, if you put the top 4 from England, best 4 from England, best 4 from La Liga, best 4 from Serie A, 12 sides, genuinely, how many teams get in the top 8 from Serie A in that period? 1? 2? Maybe? That's only my opinion, but people may agree to. I mean, last year, Atalanta were pretty good, though, weren't they, boys?
Just a quick question. What is the early kickoff this weekend?
Don't know.
What did you say, sorry?
So Liverpool Chelsea's 4:30, City's 2 p.m.
Because
Man United are on Saturday. When are we playing?
12:30.
12:30. West Ham.
Yeah, it's Tottenham West Ham. How do you not know that? You have just exposed yourself.
I've been out.
You're too fixated on. You knew when Arsenal kicks off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's only because we mentioned that.
That's crazy.
We literally mentioned that. Don't even do that to me. We mentioned that a minute ago. But yeah, we've got West Ham.
It's a London derby as well, Henry. Man, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I'm not.
It's going to be a tough game, you know. That's going to be a tough game.
I think we will win, but if we don't come out of a win, and Man United win, we're going to be like 14th.
Is Son back for the game?
Yeah, he's back. Okay. Solanke will start, Son will start, Kulu will start, Maddison will start. I think he's got to switch up the back four, though, I'll be honest. Like Romero,
Really?
Have you watched Romero this season? He's a good centre back.
Oh, no, I've watched him for a long time. We've had a lot of arguments about Romero, Henry, this season.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think he has got to be dropped this game though, because West Ham, I expect Tottenham to have 70% plus possession, probably close to 80%. the majority of this game.
West Ham are awful though, bruv. They are
Yeah,
so
they turn
Yeah,
up.
but
They
Terry,
turn up
they've
against
got
us.
individuals that will just turn the game on its head, like Bowen. Can Paqueta play? I know he's got the investigate. So Paqueta
He's
as well.
play. He's gonna have a point to prove.
And Antonio loves a game against Spurs. Fulcrook probably that. Somerville, like they've still got individuals that can just create something out of nothing. I think Spurs win, but again, it won't be easy. I think they'll make it a tough game, man.
Speaking of West Ham, you hear that David Moyes is lined up to replace Glasner at Palace because they're looking to sack him. For the last 3 months of last season, he's being lined up as a genius. Now they're looking to sack him and replace him with David Moyes.
I think Glasner's a real good coach. I think the squad's just been decimated.
But that's what happens, though. And that's gone. But that's what happens. And I think that's... Remember when like Eddie Howe was doing well at Bournemouth and then they fell off? So those clubs can't hang on to their players long enough. It's as simple as that.
Same thing happened with Brighton, didn't it? All the injuries.
Henry talks schedules, but doesn't know Spurs's. Yeah, it's terrible. The fact that you knew Arsenal's, but you don't know.
We were literally just speaking about the Arsenal game,
bro. You are not beating Terry's next 10 videos. Arsenal are scary, bruv. The banter's dead, my G. Do you know what I love though about the scary stuff? I will say this, and I don't normally talk about myself in this way. I have changed YouTube with that title. The amount of people that now do that or a variation, it is unbelievable. I still get... It was really funny. I had someone the other day say, everybody else means it, I'm faking it. I'm like, well, let's even say you're true, but they're still copying me because no one was doing that until me. I love how much I've changed the game. It's like, honestly, like if I die, please put that on my headstone. Do you know what I mean? Just put it on my headstone. Terry was scary. Do you know what I mean? Put it on my headstone. Yeah.
You guys think if we lose to West Ham, then no, I think we'll beat them 3-1. But if we don't beat them, do you think that's it for Ange?
You're actually generally worried about this game.
I am worried. I'm always worried when we play West Ham.
It won't. Do you know what it is, Henry? It won't be. I don't think it will be it for Ange, but the pressure will just intensify. Listen, he's already under pressure as it is, but I think he'll go even. I think it will even intensify. I think your next game probably will be a Europa League game, and then let's say I don't know who you have in the League Cup, but let's say you don't win. I think it's the week.
Man City.
Oh my god!
I've actually said it on the Top 6 show a number of times. We will beat Man City in that League Cup game because he's going to rotate. He's going to play the kids against us. And we'll go best 11.
But their
to be fair though, Pep did say that he don't care about
beat your team.
Pep did say that
Henry's
he don't want to be in that competition, so you're right.
There we go.